Professor Karnoy, what's your position on the fact that the number of universities providing charge-free higher education is diminishing?
So the number of universities charging fees is diminishing, or the number of students paying fees is diminishing? Which is it?
I mean, there are charge-free higher education is less.
Increasing.
No,
Less.
instead, yes. Unfortunately.
Well, I think what's really happening is this, that the number of fixed places, free places, paid places by the government, budgeted places, has remained pretty much the same for many, many years. Now, I think in recent years it's declined a little bit because of budget problems, but the population of students has also started to decrease because of population decline. And so the number of paid students went down even faster than the number of non-paying students. So it may be that now recently, I haven't seen the latest data, that the budget places have been reduced, but I think that in general, the number of paying students has also gone down, because the total number of university students is going down. So I think the bigger problem is with declining population, or let's say not growing population, the question is, should we have so many universities in Russia? That's the question. And it's very hard to close a university because they're very unpopular politically to do that. So I think that's been very hard for the government. So what they do instead possibly is to reduce the number of free places.
Thank you. What do you think is the correlation between social status of a student and her academic assessment, her academic results? And when might such cause and effect relationship become visible?
I think that there's a positive correlation between social class and academic result. That's everywhere in the world. The real question, as I talked about in the talk, is whether schools are contributing to even more unequal results, and I don't think the evidence is that they do. However, in Russia, 40% of students after 9th grade end up in some kind of vocational school, where possibly the gain in academic scores is lower than in academic schools. And so who goes to vocational schools is very unequal. In other words, you're much more likely to go if you're a male and lower social class. So in that sense, the system perhaps favors kids from rich families more than, and where the real difference occurs is who gets to university and which university. Social class plays an increasingly important role, in particular in which university students choose to go, partially because you have to pay, and secondly because of the distance. So particularly young women from outside Moscow and St. Petersburg are less likely to leave home and go to a university, a better university in another place. So there are lots of inequities in the system in terms of merit.
Can we presume that the spreading of fee-paid education might contribute to even harsher discrimination than, for example, racial in some countries?
Well, it could. I think if you gave all free places, you would be even more subsidizing rich students than poor students. As it is already, Russia subsidizes wealthier students because they're more likely to go into free places in better universities, more expensive universities. So, you know, at least if you force students, some students to pay, about half the students pay, at least you're forcing wealthier students who are still more likely to pay, at least they're paying. So it isn't free for them. It isn't public money that's paying for them. I think the way it should be done is everybody should pay, and then low-income students should get some sort of scholarship, or everybody should pay, and then the people who earn more income should pay back all of the money, while people who earn less income pay back less of the money. There are different schemes, but right now, the free places are very unequally allocated by social class.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor.